GM, Fomoverse Radio. This is your show host, Austin Hamilton. Today we got Off Edge on here. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
GM, sir, happy to be here, man. It's such a pleasure to be on the podcast and, really be here and listen. I've been watching you from the sidelines over there in the Fomoverse community. So
With the binoculars on?
Yeah, exactly. Just a voyeur.
So, how you been, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe what you do for a living. If you're in Web3, just go off here.
Yeah, cool. It's been an interesting journey for me. I discovered NFTs about a year ago when I was working my day job, which was in-house counsel at a software company. And I went down the rabbit hole. I mean, it sounds cliche at this point after hearing it so much, but I was lucky enough to be introduced to an individual who goes by Aw Heck. That like he was a true evangelist for the space when it was first really like kind of blowing up a little bit, because that first bubble kind of came like right around like February, March.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
After that Beeple sale.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, well, everything's going to sell for $50 million now. Not the case. Fast forward a little bit. But no, I dove in head first. I love the art aspect is how I was really interested to begin with. But what I learned over time, being like kind of like a hyper curious individual and always trying to find like new ways to think and new mental models and that kind of stuff, was that there was a unique incentive alignment in Web3 that I felt like it really kind of encapsulated WAGMI, right? Like there's a way that the value is created and that governance is done and the way that capital can be allocated from a Web3 perspective that brought really the power to the people, which I loved. I thought it was a great idea. I thought, I had this firm conviction. I mean, I remember like very, 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 very clearly sitting at my desk one day. I'm like, I negotiated contracts. So like I was constantly in an adversarial situation, right? I'm on calls. I'm like talking to like Microsoft or Amazon or these large companies. And they're like, hey, you're a little software company X. So I get done with this stuff. And then I get to this point and I'm like, you know what? I really think that Web3 is going to be the greatest wealth building opportunity of our lifetime. And I said wealth strategically, not just to get rich, right? Like, I think it's going to bring a lot of people into a situation where they're going to be happier and more fulfilled. And also, incentivized monetarily, of course, right? Because you have to have that to live. But, and when I had that realization, it was just a question of when. When was I going to make the jump? When was I going to go full time? Because I knew the what would figure itself out. So, fast forward like 6 months after that, I had explored some different opportunities to purchase a family business. Ultimately did not work out, which was all for the good, because then it was kind of like, all right, so the next thing is this full-time Web3. What can I do if I put all my time and effort towards this? Because right now it's just my happy place and I believe in it. Right. And so I kind of went in with like completely open mind. Of course, I had some different things that I like thought might be a good idea that I'm exploring now. But and some of them have been coming to fruition. But like it really was just the idea of coming in with like pure curiosity, right? And seeing where I might fit in the puzzle and might be able to help all the communities kind of rise up and get better.
I love that, man. When you say power of the people, it just kind of reminds me when we were messaging on Discord. You had talked about how, hey, a lot of the creators or artists are usually the spotlight, and we don't really talk about the collectors as much. And I think the collectors play a huge role, if not like 99% of the role in this space. It's like the community is really powerful, and if you got a strong set of collectors, that's going to push you to the next level. If you're a creator or an NFT artist, like I think that's one underrated aspect that artists and curators and even collectors themselves always forget. It's like, whoa, like take a step back. We're all gonna make it. We're all part of this. We're just as important as the creators in my eyes. So give yourself some
Yeah,
credit.
yeah, man. It is an a very important role as a collector, and a lot of the lines are blurred, right? But there are people like myself, and I don't know if you have you created an NFT before, Austin, or are you also a collector and just
Yeah, I'm
purely?
just a collector. I don't know if you would call FOMOverse Radio maybe being part of the creators, but
I mean, you are a partner, right? Like that's one thing. That's a deep conversation I had this week, and I was lucky enough to spend some time with my mentor, a little bit. Oh heck, and that's what we got into. It's like if okay, so let's take the most literal meaning of that, which is like, hey, we're partners with Pack by Pack's words, right?
oh
Not
yeah.
not our words, right? But really, what it made me think about last night as I try to like form my brand and like how I can bring value to the space is like I've been toiling on like the education side because that's what interests me, right?
Hmm.
And I was thinking about, I was like, Web3 coaches, Web3 consultants, Web3 advisors, but like really we're Web3 partners,
Yep.
right? As collectors, your community, whether it's a traditional PFP community, whether it's a DAO community, whether it's a pack community, which is like centered around an artist, which is more of like, then like that kind of ecosystem that has different facets to it, right? Like we are all in this, and we're all important for the whole to make it, right? Like we've
Absolutely.
got to believe in it, and you've got to contribute in a way. And I think what it comes down to is really like when you spend more time inside of these communities, you get these vibes, right? Where people are not just talking about like the wind moon, right? They're talking about like how can we give back? How can we come together? How can we make each other better? And it might be totally unrelated to what the actual community is, right? Like you see all these other channels where people are riffing on like stock ideas or just alpha ideas, or just hey, I want a safe place to like sound off, right? And it's magical to see, and I think it directly correlated with the value that's driven to these people is like the level of participation, the level of partnership that you're showing being a collector.
And that's one thing Pac always brings up. What is value?
Mhm.
Is it the relationship that you have between the artist and the collectors? Is it the relationship that you have amongst yourselves with all the collectors? Is it how much you assign a dollar amount to the actual work itself? So it just kind of makes you think about value itself and how you, like you said, how you can bring more to the table. Not only just with, you know, building the dollar signs with the NFTs and stuff like that, but just, the relationships that you have, among the pieces that you own. I there's a couple other groups. I'm part of like 10 Discord groups. That might be light for some. I talk to some people and
Kudos, brother. Kudos.
they're
If you've
like,
kept
man,
it
I
in,
got like 1,000 channels, and I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to just stay on the ones that I'm gonna focus and spend more attention on. I can't jump in and out of like even like 20 discords. I mean maybe I could, but I have a full time job. I sell cars, so at a Ford dealership, I don't even have the time hardly now to jump on 10 discords. let alone
Yeah.
run Foamoverse Radio, be in Lorem and, what is it, Bizarre Origami Hands. So,
That's just sub channels of
yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Then you got Ralph Grassetti's, Discord. You got Dell's Discord. There's other Discords out there that I'm on, but it's just like, I think if you're trying to focus on a certain collection or a certain creator, it's like really just dive in and allocate some of your time. Maybe not even daily, but every 2 to 3 days, just kind of go back and see what everybody's talking about and try to just, you know, look at everything and absorb all that. And maybe not necessarily you off edge, but other people that are listening or other people that are out there, it's like maybe you can learn some things with what these other community members are saying. So, I don't know. It's cool, man. I've really learned a lot being in the community, with people's ideas and so many new people coming into the space every day. It's so awesome to see. My buddy was talking about the other day. He was like, Bitcoin and Ethereum back in the day, I don't think they used to have this tight of a community. It seems like NFT people were very tight, and we're all kind of aligned with mostly the same, kind of aspirations and stuff. So it's really interesting to see this community develop and where we've gone in the past 2 years. Even it's a roller coaster, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm sure you've seen plenty of people that are like NFT time, right? NFT time is like 1 month equals 10 years, right? Like, or what have you.
Yep, yep. Yeah, we're really like 87 in the NFT world. There is
Yeah,
no age
exactly.
cap.
I'm a senior citizen, man.
hmm We
I've
should.
been in this for a year.
We gotta get Social Security now, man.
It's interesting. I mean, you could riff on Social Security or just from a first principles perspective, how this might actually align with that. But one thing I did want to bring up is like, I've kind of developed a philosophy for the whole thing because I guess whenever you're getting into an industry, you try to, and like you want to evangelize, like you got to think what are the barriers to entry, and then also like how are people retained in this
Yep.
industry? Because like burnouts, it's real, it's freaking
hmm
real, man. And so, and don't get me wrong, I've burned out on learning all these lessons, and I don't even know if I'm right yet. But like I've tried to diversify my community. Oh,
Oh,
did I
you're
lose you?
good. You're good. I'm just giving you the
Oh,
spotlight here.
oh, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. We're all good.
So, I mean, either way is cool. So I'm trying to really like diversify where I spend my time, right? Because ultimately your time is scarce. So I went back and I'm like, all right, so how do we get more people in here and how do we keep them here, right? How do we get more people in here? Well, there's a pretty big hurdle just to own an NFT,
Yep.
right? There's digital wallets. Where do I buy it? Who do I buy it from? What crypto do I need to buy? Where do I buy my crypto with my US dollars? How do I get my crypto from my US dollars account in a centralized exchange to like my MetaMask wallet or what have you outside? Which chain am I buying on?
Good point.
Right?
Good points.
I mean, and then you have like, okay, this one's on a layer two. And that's like not necessarily entry level, but like it's starting to happen more and more. So there's just a lot of like, I guess you could call them technical requirements that you just don't know. And then fast forward, these are all like security worrying like requirements. You've got a level of accountability that some people just don't want. And that's okay, right? That's perfectly fine. If you don't want to get in this space because you're okay with someone else managing all of your investments, like, go, it's fine. But
Right.
what you need to make sure is clear is that with that level of autonomy, what do you get, right? What is the access that you get? What is these communities about? So then you go to like the community aspect. So you get, hopefully we get more people on board because, we're so early. And then you're like, how do I retain these people? So I started off Nifty Gateway buying art for art, right? Buying artists I like, speculating, which is a large part of this. Um, and then I watched the market go down about 80%
Oh yeah.
right after Pax Fungible dropped. I went like, that was my last big purchase. Um, and I bought a few cubes for myself. I bought a 10 cube. My wife bought some stuff.
Oh my.
Uh,
Do you
yeah,
still have
and
them?
so I can tell you exactly what happened. So I
There's always
sold
a
two
story.
I sold two cubes, one for 2,000, one for 3,000. I
Nice.
burned a cube
Wow.
back when it was 800.
Oh, good for you,
Hold on,
man.
yeah, back when it was about 800 ash. And then then I sold recently a 5 cube. Um, it was, I don't know why they were mooning. Maybe it was the price of ETH and everything, but it was like, I think I ended up getting like 7 ETH for like the 5 cube
Oh,
and reallocated
nice.
it.
Wow.
Um, I can tell you a whole nother shame story from that.
Uh
But just in the interest of getting to my point, I went through all these experiences and bought into PFPs. My first PFP collection was Wicked Craniums back in like August, I think, or July, somewhere around there.
Like
Uh,
5 years ago. No, I'm joking.
yeah, exactly. So we're talking NFT years. I say August, I meant 5 years ago. But I was like, okay, there's so much stuff here. Every time someone mentions something, I can't just go jump on it. And there's like this level of participation and value that I can talk about a little bit later. But like as you participate in these communities more, you actually get more monetary value too, right? You're almost getting paid to socialize in some aspects.
Oh yeah.
Um, but like I was like, so where do I take my time, right? Like how do I allot it so that I don't feel trapped in like I would feel like if I had like a job or something like that, like I can still love this, but also with an eye towards the future, right? Like which one of these do I think are going to materialize? So I have this theory I'm running through right now where I have one main PFP community, Dead Fellows.
There you go. Nice. That's
Um,
solid, bro. Ash 2.
Dude, I love that. And then Pack, like an artist-centered community. So you have your PFP community with great leaders. I mean, dude, Betty and Syke, I think they might be some of the best out there, just in terms of their like, they are their brand. They live their brand. They execute on it, and the community around it is just like unreal. And then you got Pack, who's like the native crypto artist, always engaging his creators, right? He makes his collectors creators. So like going back to your original comment, the like there are creators, there are collectors, and then there are people who make their collectors creators, and he's one of those.
Oh
Or
my
they,
gosh,
I
that's
should
so
say.
special.
And so and then there's so many different facets, right? You have the fungible, you have the lost poets. I actually that 800 ash ended up exchanging that for ETH during Lost Poets to get like a ton more pages. Even though he had like they already sent me 5 airdrop pages just for owning 800 ash.
Oh,
I went in hard. Lost Poets was one of my favorites.
oh,
And then I've got DAOs, right? Because like my background's a lawyer, and so I'm like legal entities. If I understand this stuff, like I can help these things execute better, right? I can provide real value there. Call me a creator, right? A legal creator. I don't know. It's kind of hand in hand. So you've got like different communities that function like that. So you've got like just to review there, you've got the PFP community, you've got the artist centered community, you've got DAOs, and there's different structures of DAOs too. But by inserting myself and spending my time within all these different communities, I'm not only collecting various NFTs, I'm also making sure that I contribute to each one as much as possible and avoiding burnout. Because getting back to the retention point, the single biggest reason that my friends drop out after starting, right, after they've gotten through all the security barriers, is Discord fatigue. It's tiring.
oh yeah.
I went in, so like I had mentioned earlier, my mentor's in town this week, and we went in real life to museums together. Going to check out some beautiful art. He teaches me so much. I don't have a background in traditional art. I just got into it, right? I just started to explore my creative side a little bit more. And we were like in there for, I don't know, a day, like most of the day. And I go back and I've got like 112 notifications. So,
Dang.
that can be overwhelming. I'm okay with it because I've gone through these communities. I know which ones I really need to make sure I read, which ones I don't, right? But that will definitely like scare off a lot of people. So figuring out a way to help people understand as they get into it, not to go down every rabbit hole and how to manage these discords properly. I think that will help grow the NFT world, Web3 world tremendously, because right now it's like you get in there and it's like you're like a deer in the headlights, you know?
Yeah, you kind of have to know how to weed through all the noise. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you bring up a good point. You're like, what do you pay attention to? You know, and then, if you have 100 notifications on Discord, it's like, which ones do you allocate yourself to read, and which ones do you kind of just, blow off or whatever. But time management is a big thing. I feel like in the NFT space, you don't have to be on Discord, but if you are on Discord, you could create some sort of monetary value there, like you were saying. Um, like, if you were a part of the POC Discord and Twitter and stuff like that, you might have been rewarded a carbon cube, if people know you. And there's other incentives
You
too.
get one, Austin?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you deserve it,
I
man.
appreciate
You're
that.
crushing it.
Honestly, like, I didn't even expect to get one. Like, when it comes to drops, like new drops, I'm just happy to see people's reaction and people being able to obtain the drop that they want. And so
Yes.
I'm just that kind of person where it brings joy to me watching other people be happy. So I didn't even like expect, a carbon or whatever, and then all of a sudden Pac was like, "Hey, we're going to do nominations," and I seen my name on the leaderboard and I was like, "This isn't real." like,
Fake
yeah,
news.
I was like, "Nah." And then he came out and he's like, "I'm going to start taking some people off the list." And I was just like, "I'm going off the list." Like, I
uh,
just in full disbelief. So it was pretty cool, man.
Dude, that is unreal. I'm so happy for you. That was such a cool process. The whole thing. I
Oh
was
my
watching it
gosh.
unfold, and I was just like, I mean, I was in FOMOverse, so I knew, right? Like, I wasn't super active, but like I was always watching, right? I
Uh-huh.
was always kind of scanning the Discord and stuff like that. I watched the FOMOverse radio announcements. I watched
Oh, that's
the
so cool.
gifs
You watched
afterwards.
the
Like,
caps lock get banned too.
yeah, I remember the caps lock, man. It's so funny, man.
How
I don't know.
stupid, but how funny. I mean,
I
and
mean, it was just like seriously, like almost orchestrated but fun
yeah,
controversy,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah. It was fun. Like, some people would come in and they're like, "Dude, quit yelling. Like, why are you typing in all caps?" And I'm like, "Bro, just chill out. Like, let me type
This is
however I
my
want to type."
thing. I
Yeah.
do this.
I want to try to stand out. Like, I want to be my own guy in Fomoverse, and it's like, I don't want to just blend in with all the Discord lines. Like, let me do something that when people are scrolling through Discord, they're like, "Oh, this is the show host guy," like, and so it just
Bolded
makes them think
letters.
about that. Yeah, bolded letters. Now I have to do it in like, yeah, bolded letters now instead of all caps, or what is it when it's like sideways? I can't remember what. Uh,
Wait, what do you mean?
like when the text is it like sideways here.
Like italicized?
Italicized, yeah. So I,
Yeah.
I I do the italicized and then the bold text now to just try to stand out and post like a YouTube link, and I feel like when people are scrolling through they're like, "Oh, yep, that's him.
Yeah.
That's the
Add
saxophone
emphasis
guy."
here.
Yep.
In parentheses, add emphasis here.
Yep.
Right. That's great.
Well, thank you, man, for that. What are
Yeah, I
you
have to
drinking there?
say, what'd you say? Oh, Celsius.
Hmm.
Yeah. You ever Celsius?
I have, man. It's pretty good stuff. Is that like the energy? It's like an energy drink, right?
So it's interesting. It started out as like a pre-workout drink.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
pretty healthy, I think. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not a scientist by any means, but I mean, I think that the whole pitch, there's zero sugar. It's, all natural caffeine. It's got good flavor. So it's kind of a good balance. And I have two kids, so I drink it too. Sometimes I drink it to go to the gym, but like a lot of times I'm just drinking it to keep up.
Oh, good for you, man. Getting that exercise. Back to like being healthy into the space. I
Oh,
feel like a lot of people just kind of, there was that time when I think it was when Fomoverse was actually going to drop, and I heard people were staying up for like 3 days watching the drop, and then they actually created a health channel in Pox Discord, and it's like, make sure that your health is the number one thing in this space. You
That's
you can you
I'm
can do everything right, and be a gazillionaire, but your health at the end of the day, I think, is the most important thing.
I'm curious. What has been your experience in other discords with like well-being? Because that's something that seems to come up a lot. Have you like had other discords of like do certain things that try to help the well-being of their communities?
So, like I said, I'm pretty tight as far as which discords I'm in. Um,
Hmm.
I've noticed some of the discords that I'm in, it's almost like the creators kind of take a break for a little bit, and maybe they make it public or they don't, but it's kind of obvious, they're like not in it like 24/7 sometimes. And so it just kind of reminds me like, okay, this creator's taking a break, maybe it's a good time to just kind of relax and unwind a little bit before diving deep down. To be honest, man, like I haven't in my other discords. There's not a lot of downtime, but if there is, I mean, you try to take as much as you can. But no, I think the only real health check was in Pox channel out of my Discord. So
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, how's your health? Do you feel like you're able to manage it? It sounds like obviously you're tight on your Discord, so does that allow you to get like good sleep and stuff?
oh
And
yeah, yeah. When I get off work usually about 8 p.m. or so, sometimes a little earlier, but I might spend like 30 minutes, 45 minutes on Discord or something after I get off work, and then take a shower, just kind of unwind, and that's it, man. I don't, I used to spend more time on there, but I've just been kind of dialing back a little bit just to allow myself more sleep and just more time with the family. So I just try to limit myself when I get on there, and you know, shout out my girlfriend. She's like, you can always read it in the morning, and that's true.
true.
um, so yeah, so I try to limit myself on how much I take in every day, and I think that's important. You have like a structure, to say, hey, I'm only gonna do this 2 hours a day. That's my opinion. Some people they might just do whatever, but that's what I do.
You got to find what works for your personality,
Hmm.
right? And I mean that's pretty general life advice, but especially in like what can be like a high stress situation like this, like one of the things I realized when I was starting doing this is, I had a life, I had a I guess mentality that could handle buy and hold, but I could not handle buy and sell, right? That was like my first way of avoiding fatigue in the space. Was like, buy and sell is tough. I think Shorts always says that, when you buy and sell, you gotta be right twice as opposed to one time,
Yep.
right? You gotta be right when you buy, right when you sell. So that has helped. I would say I tend to prioritize. Well, I don't tend to. I do prioritize anything with the family.
Yep.
Um, and I've had conversations with my wife, just being frank, where she's been like, "You're engrossed a little bit in your phone or your
Oh
computer." Like,
yeah, same here. Same
yeah,
here, buddy.
yeah, and
Yep.
you're like, that doesn't feel good,
Nope.
and I think that's a healthy conversation because you're kind of setting boundaries, right? But just to get that gut check every once in a while where you're like, all right, am I going too far? But I also think it's important to have those creative moments when you're on the brink of going to sleep and all of a sudden you see something that inspires you in a Discord and you feel like you need to share your thoughts. Because I guess one of the communities I kind of left off in my diversification of communities is like the ones that are centered around thinking better, right? And sometimes you might get inspired when you see something. I'm in one called Philosophical Foxes. I love it. It's like everybody is really deep thinkers. They're all about like how do we accumulate knowledge? What are our maxims and this kind of stuff. And it's got some really, really cool people in there. And like sometimes if someone puts up like something in the philosophy section that looks cool, I might sit up for like 30 minutes and just have to interact about it. But that's it's not an every night thing, right? I'm not looking for those opportunities necessarily with the intent to like not, get good sleep or not pay attention to the family or anything like that. So
And
yeah, I get it, dude.
and some
It's real.
people like Dell. He says he only sleeps like 4 hours a night, and I mean kudos to
I believe
Dell.
it.
Like,
Watching him communicate, man. He communicates. First of all, he's an amazing communicator, but he's almost always on. And I start to wonder the same thing about shorts too. Like they're always in there, whether it's in their patrons community or in this pack community or in Dell's Discord or on Twitter. You're like, bang, 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 bang. It's amazing. But I kind of feel like, and this is just me being an optimist kind of, but like I kind of feel like he knows what he got into, right? He wants to be doing that right now.
oh yeah, yeah,
Talks about how like he's got the backing of his wife because his wife knows that he's super into it. Like that's motivating. Like he has set those boundaries and he is working hard to create this thing. And at some point he'll take some time, right?
yep.
I mean, everybody has to eventually. And I think at some point, like I want to be in that space, that I'm not there yet, right? Like it's cool to be in that phase where you're just like, you have such clear vision of where you're going, right? And the value that you're providing that you just heads down. I need to spend every time waking moment on this. And then that is also a conversation you have with the family where you're like, it's time, right? Um, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm interested to know, do you have any plans of trying to make this a full-time thing? Or is this right now just like a hobby kind of socialization thing for you?
I asked myself the same question. Am I gonna do NFTs full time? For now, probably no. I've thought about it. I've certainly thought about it. There's been months where I've traded in and out of projects or in and out of NFTs, and I've made more than my primary job. So I wonder to myself though. I'm like, is it always going to be like this? Or do I need to take that extra step to make it always like this? So I don't know. It's certainly a question that I've had with myself. Should I go NFTs full time? But on the other hand, like what I do for my career, selling cars, I love it. So it's not one of those
Cool,
jobs.
man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
magical.
I don't even call it a job. I call it a career. So, I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go to work. I have a good time at work. I got good people around me, and it's funny because most of the close people at work, they're into NFTs. So
No
on
way. Was that
yeah,
by virtue of you or just common personalities doing things or
it's a little bit of both, but like it just makes it to where when I'm in the work setting and we're taking some time to ourselves, it's like we can communicate to each other and I can share the same passions with them.
and
So,
they understand what you're saying, which is key,
oh
right?
yeah,
How
100%,
many
yeah.
times have you been shut down in a conversation where someone's like, I don't know what you're talking about?
Oh, then I'm gonna take them down the hole, brother. I'm taking them. I'm like, okay, listen here. Let me tell you just the base layer. And I think probably when I tell them, they just don't even understand, but they act like they do.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about my coworkers, but like people that are
Right.
brand
Yeah.
new to
No,
the
you're talking
space.
about
Yeah,
people at a party, like these people that are, they,
it's like that meme where the guy's like holding a drink and everybody's dancing, and it says they don't know I own a Beeple NFT, and he's just like the alone guy at the party. It's like that sometimes, but it's cool. Bringing new people into the space and just seeing people's ideas and some people are so bullish on this and some people are so bearish. It's funny just combining the two, and I really enjoy this space. I enjoy what I do. Very lucky and blessed that I was able to get into Fomoverse
dude,
at
me too,
Mint.
man. That was such an accident.
My
Oh man, that was a
gosh.
fun one. I was okay. Can I tell my FOMOverse story?
Let's go, man.
So uh, I've become I'm more friendly with my neighbors because of COVID. And one of my neighbors that I've become pretty good friends with is, he's a very smart guy. Love spending time with him. And so I'm at his house, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, let's hang out. Like the kids can play downstairs. We can have a little bit of back and forth, like whatever. We can actually spend time and talk, right? Because when you have young kids, it's very hard to actually have the conversations because you're always like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" But at the same time, we knew that FOMOverse was dropping within, I can't remember what PAX's original time frame was, but it was like 4 or 5 hours, I think, by the morning of.
You thought it was
And
gonna go on for like 3 days, or like
was it 3 days? I
bro,
don't remember.
that's when the Health Channel was coming up.
I
People
remember
were staying
siblings
up
coming on and
days.
saying at some point like a 4 or 5 hour window, but whatever. So I don't know when, but I know that they're running a Spaces the entire time. So I'm sitting at my friend's house, my IRL friend, with my phone and with Spaces on like really low, just waiting for something. And my kid's downstairs, and I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna go to my house. It's like 3 houses down and grab a drink. I went and grab a drink. I walk back. As I walk into the house, I hear the link has been dropped. The link has been dropped. I quickly sprint back to my house. I
You
pull
did a
up my
40-yard
computer.
dash, bro.
Yeah. And I pull up my computer and I'm like, click, click, and I get the error screen. I can't remember what it said.
You're too
I'm like,
early or
oh,
something. Yep.
what was it?
It's like you're too early. Like
You're too early. Yeah. And I'm like,
something like
oh,
that. Yeah.
man. And then I'm like, well, whatever. I'll try and reload it. Well, that was the key, right?
Yep.
Reload the page. I got it the second time.
And the MetaMask was
And I was like,
spinning.
I walked back to his house. I'm like, I got it. Because the entire time he's like, what are you listening to? And I'm trying to explain to him NFTs. I pull up my fungible collection. I'm showing him burn.art. And he's a smart dude. So like he'll actually follow the conversation even if he doesn't know what you're talking about. Right. And I'm like, I got the thing. And then I explained to him how much it was worth.
Like, I got this.
And I was like, so you listen to somebody talk, and then you clicked on a thing, and then you reloaded by accident, and then you got a drop, and now you got something in your wallet that, I mean, I think at the time, like 50-50 partners, it was like 3 ETH. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Yep, for free.
For free.
Yep.
And that, it really brings an interesting point, right? Like, there is a monetization of socializing that is a key aspect of this. And you can't bank on it as like, hey, I'm going to make a career doing this. I don't think. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. I shouldn't say you can't. It's hard to predict like predict what's going to happen because of a lot of it's luck like this. But like that has drawn in so many people because they have an experience like that, and that might be one of their only experiences, right? And they're like, okay, I'm in, right?
You got the
Like,
keys to the door.
yeah, I have 4 Deadfellas. I only paid for 2 of them.
That's awesome, man.
I won a Survivor round. Have you ever? I don't know if you know what that is. It's like they basically created a game inside of Discord where you type a command and they'll have like, you got maimed by so and so. Try again soon, or you won, you survived. Like it gets more expansive than that. It's a cool way to do giveaways, right? But and then I got one randomly from the Halloween drop. They did like a metaverse like Halloween thing. So yeah, that one on the top is what I got during the Halloween drop. That's the Rembrandt. It's a collab between the artist Rembrandt, who's killer. You should check if you like that kind of abstract stuff. Killer. Actually, the pictures on the right, the bottom right,
The
that
little
kind of
dog or
antler-looking
whatever?
thing. What's that?
There's like a dog or something on him.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's like a snake or like a. This
oh,
middle
so
one?
my dead friends. Yeah, those are the dead friends. You know about the dead friend?
No, I don't.
So the dead friends, do you know about the apes and like the lineage of the apes where they like had apes, then they got dogs, and then they mutated and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
So
Baseline, but yeah, sure.
yeah, so like the dead fellas were like the OG PFP 10,000 collection, and then just recently they dropped the dead friends, and those were kind of like the pets, right? And
Okay.
everybody, for every single dead fella you owned, you got one dead friend minting pass, and then for every single like collab you owned, I think you had to pay like point 0.1 or something, like, not a lot.
Man,
and
that's
you could
so
get more
cool.
passes.
And it's just one of those PFPs where, I think I was looking at them for like point 0.2, point 0.3, and I just failed to grab them up because I think at the time I was burned out from some of the PFPs, and it's one of
Dude, it's
those
so easy,
where
man.
I could have went back and bought, five of them or something, and really liked. It sounds like a great community, and I really like the little zombie guys. That's pretty cool. So, and then part of Ash too.
Yeah.
How
And part of Ash
how,
too.
how
That
much better can it be? I mean,
what? Like
this is like the
what?
ultimate PFP project.
I
That's
mean,
so cool.
the MNDK. I mean, I love that. I love those two being in there. But yeah, dude, my son loves these things. He sees these things. He's 4.5, almost 5, whatever.
Nice.
And he comes home. He comes home from school and he's like, "Dad, I drew you a dead fella."
Oh, that's special.
And I
That's
made
cute.
die cut stickers of my forever fellow, which is the guy in the middle on the bottom. And he's like, "Dad, give me a sticker." And he's in my car and he puts it up on the sunroof and he says, "You should always be looking up at your dead fella." And I'm like, "Are you serious right now?"
Ah, that's so funny.
I'm like, "Man, are you sure you're 4.5?" Like,
Yeah, that's
this
so
kid's gonna
cool.
be coming up and be like, "NFTs? Of course I know what
Hmm.
NFTs are."
Well, and that's part of the thing. Like, moving forward, the generation that's younger than me, because I'm a millennial. But I think like, is it Gen Z, which would be the next one? I think there's maybe one in between, but like cryptocurrency and that kind of stuff, that's native. That's gonna be native to them. They grow up on their tablets. My girlfriend has a 5-year-old daughter, so but she'll play on her tablet, and they have coins that they get for power ups and special items and stuff like that. And I feel like that translates into the real world later when they grow up a little bit. It's like they're gonna understand it just right off the bat. It'll just make the most sense to them. They'll be like, paper dollars? What is that? They're just so used to having that digital money, and so I just know that's gonna be the future moving forward is cryptocurrency. And we're still gonna have to have some sort of native currency, like if they end up making the CBDC, centralized digital bank currency. But I just think moving forward, we're gonna see more and more crypto and even more NFTs. I think the NFTs are gonna stretch out to things that we can't even imagine right now, like having your driver's license as an NFT, having your health records NFTs, your title to your car is NFTs. So I think there's more that meets the eye with NFTs than people can see on the surface right now. And this goes back to philosophy and having ideas and collabing with each other and communicating. I think we can really build something special. So it's certainly a pleasure to be a part of this, I guess you could say, niche community right now. But what's it going to look like in 5 to 10 years from now?
I can tell you, man, you're speaking my language. This gap of like bridging the real world with NFTs is real. There's just certain things that an NFT is better for than is currently being handled. I think cars are interesting, and it does not surprise me that you would bring that up, considering your exposure, right? But really, ownership of anything. Think about houses. My wife and I, we went down to a conference down in Miami last week. It's called Crypto and Real Estate, and it's put on by this platform called Proppy. And what it is, it's a listing platform, but it's a listing platform that allows you to do a few things that are Web3, which is one, you can sell your house for cryptocurrency. Two, you can sell your house for auction for cryptocurrency. Three, they have built integrations with title companies so that you can record your title on the blockchain, and it's also recorded with the proper
There
office.
we go.
So there's some chain of title efficiencies there, but there's still a long way to go. The first house just sold in Tampa for like 630 ETH, I think what it was. But right now it's 630 ETH converted to US dollars, traditional purchase sale agreement executed. But don't worry, the whole thing's on the blockchain. But they're actually, what they're doing is the NFT is ownership in an LLC that owns the house. So when someone transfers that NFT, you basically have a right to purchase that LLC that owns the house. So you've now bought your house through an NFT. And it's stuff like that that's going to change it. And I was down there, and it was 50% real estate agents, 50% crypto people. And it was just such interesting conversations, right? Like back and forth, because you have me, who, of course, I'm like sitting there in my dead fella shirt. I'm raising my hand, asking all these questions about DAOs and communities and all this. And all the real estate agents are like, oh, what is Zach saying? You know, oh, that's my real name, Docs.
Write it down. Write it down.
Like, they didn't know me as Off Edge. But I did make sure that my die cuts of my dead fella had my at Off Edge _ name on it, so they could hit me up. Right. That's kind of how I do that Twitter bio. Right.
That's cool.
But no, I mean, going back to it, like all these real world applications are real. You know, you've got that. You've got anything that really, like, you've got a wills, trusts, and estates kind of application here, where you can prove like when the will was recorded. Right. I mean, there's just a lot of mesh between like kind of like the paper old world contracts and what can be memorialized on the blockchain. And it's only growing more and more. There's projects like the Accord project that are creating templatized smart contracts to actually memorialize on the smart contract. This is a legal agreement, right? So you could have the terms of your LLC on this smart contract, and then when you buy the NFT, you're now a member of the LLC or what have you of the LLC, however it's designated, and you're bound by an operating agreement, effectively, which used to be on paper, signed, you know, maybe digitally signed, but signed. And now people can put stuff like that, the basics of that, in a smart contract.
3 to 7 business days on paper. With NFTs, it's
what's your fax number, Austin? Can I fax that over to you?
Yes, let me give it to you. It's 719. Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
Let's check this out. I have a couple guests that are asking about Ash 2.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play the trailer real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's play the trailer here, and then we'll kind of talk about it after the trailer here.
Never watched it without sound. This is actually an interesting one. Who are you most excited about, Austin? Tell me.
All right, I'm gonna spill the beans here.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so my first person that I'm looking at has got to be Dell, and I might be a bit of a Dell maxi. Okay, first of all. Second of all, him being the first artist to sell on Ash, I think it's very underrated, and it's almost like he's like Pac's son or something crazy. Like, that dude is so next level with his communication, with his creation skills, with his smart contracts, with him and OXG. He's just above and beyond majority of the people, and I'm not talking crap or anything, but like, he just sets the bar, you know, for Ash artist, and I think he's so special. I'm not, like I said, I'm not dissing the other artists. Like, you know, I love all of the work, you know, but it's just something special with him. What about you? What about you? Which,
It's a tough question for me. I agree with everything you just said about Dell.
mhm.
I think Dell is, for all intensive purposes, number two for spokesperson and really what's already been built for the Ash community, right? Under a pack, of course. So I do agree with that. Um, I mean, now that the mechanics are kind of known, right? You don't really know what you're getting. One of my dear friends in this space, who was a close friend of my mentor, all heck, is Gavin Shapiro. So, I mean, there's like a sentimental thing
Oh,
there.
he's a
I
close
love.
friend of yours?
I would say digitally, yeah. We hang out, we play Catan together every once in a while. He's a good dude, man.
Okay, so you'll dig this. So his Genesis, or no, not his second drop on Nifty Gateway, I still have a piece from. It was the flamingo with
Flamingos
the neons.
all the way down
Um,
with the flipping triangle neons.
I have that, but I have one that he did before that.
Oh, you're talking about
Inception?
the kinetic sculptures.
Yes. Let me look
Yes? Question
here.
mark?
Could be. Yeah, so I have always been a fan of Gavin Shapiro, so I totally respect that dude. I mean, he's super creative in what he comes up with. The what do you call it? Like where it just the loops. He's really good at the loops. It just keeps on playing and keeps on playing, and it's like no lag. Like everything's just super smooth, and that dude is
Super good at what he
really good.
does.
Yeah, so this is the one that I have right here.
Oh,
Conception.
nice. Nice. That's a great one. That's a great one. So the super interesting thing about Gavin too is he makes all his stuff open source.
Interesting.
There's tons of people that do the loops now that learned it because Gavin has released how he does it, right?
That's so awesome, and
That
that's part of building that community and
yeah.
helping everybody develop together as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. And our group chat was originally called Flamingang. I still have this shirt, like it's like two flamingos, and then I found a penguin in the middle because now he's doing penguins.
Yeah, is he?
Um,
Is he? I thought he said he was like discontinuing the flamingos or something, or
I
maybe.
think he's moved on to penguins now. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know, dude. That his piece looks sick. Honestly, like, yeah, so super excited, like sentimentally around that one, and loving like just good art and supporting a friend. And then I would say, I don't think there's bad artists in it. I think
No,
everybody is
no,
pretty
that's why
pretty
it's
cool.
a tough question. I know.
Mad Dog, I mean,
Oh yeah.
OG, man, OG, right? Like the OG is Mad Dog. And Deadfellas, we don't need to harp on that one. I'm excited about that to see what Psych comes up with, man. Like all the work that I've gotten from him so far is just it's beautiful. And then DK, he's
I never
he's
heard of
gonna
that guy until now.
oh cool, dude. His animation's great. I am not connected with him directly, but I am friends of friends with him. This my background is it's a Beam by an artist named Jack Mashka, who I have become close with by my mentor, Heck, and um, DK and them they roll together, and they all knew each other from before. They're all animators and all that, and DK has blown up, man. Like just and rightfully so, man. You look at his work, you're like, it's so cute.
It looks like
I
Super
want to own
Smash
that.
Brothers.
Yeah, Smash Brothers. Did you look at any of his Let's Walks, like the full collection,
Uh-uh.
after you saw him on there? Like, let's scroll through there. there's,
I wanna
there's
I
some
wanna
gold
share
in
this
there.
here. I've never watched this.
Oh, there you go. Dude, it's great. You just look at him. This is, who can't be happy after watching this? You'll see the crypto bean, I think, in the background.
Okay, I was this on Nifty Gateway? This one?
If I don't know, I don't think he did one on Nifty Gateway. I could be wrong.
You
Um,
know what? Okay, I know this was on Nifty Gateway. It was a Crypto Cubes collaboration.
oh, that's what it was. That's so
Okay,
Jack was in one of those too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one that's custom mode is doing 5 for like 50 or something. That pinball one. It's sick.
wow, look at that, Jason Voorhees kicking a
Ah!
karate dude's ass.
Oh, that's awesome. There's all the left blocks. So all those vary like I don't there might be like some one-on-ones, but like most of them are like 10, like 15, 20 each.
Dang, he don't mess around.
Unbelievable creator. I mean, look at like his disc like he's it's a good example of a community that is done right, you know. It's everybody's good vibes in there and everything. But yeah, so I'm excited about Deadfellas, DK, Mad Dog, Dell, Gavin. Like, there's just I don't think I would be
Man, I think he went through
upset
all
with
30.
yeah, yeah. It's like, can I buy 30?
I
No,
was
you know,
reading something this morning. Let me go through this, and I don't know if this is 100% accurate, so excuse me if I'm spreading FUD. Okay, so there was a Discord message from YXSSXN. He says, Ash Chapter 2. It's an inclusive drop. No whitelist, no ticketing, no snapshot. Obtained only with Ash from Hot Wallet. ETA March 2022. I mean, could happen anytime soon.
I've
NFTs
been
from
hearing in a month.
yeah, yeah. I would think end of month. Fixed price, below 100 Ash per NFT. Random selection of NFTs with duplicates possible. Max 10 NFTs per wallet. No open edition. Total supply of NFTs to be added. Creators retain 10 of their own NFTs. That's interesting. Some NFTs will be high tier burn. Community decision on what will be burnable. All NFTs have A/B version. And then there's the twist. That's the information I got. It
Yeah, I
sounds
know. I
right.
wonder. I wonder the high tier burn thing. I was just like, well, duh, packs are going to be high tier burn. I hope somebody else's are too, but like, their pack is in the drop, right?
Well, it makes me wonder because Pac mentioned he said his Ash 2, like it was like a cube with like a bug in it. He said this is gonna be bugged. I'm like, wonder what that means. So
Yeah,
maybe
man.
maybe it's not burnable, and that's why he says it's bugged. I was just curious. I'm like, I was telling my buddies, I'm like, if it's 100 Ash, I don't think it'll be burnable high tier. And they're like, why? And I was like, I have a hard time seeing him, seeing they release a collection that's 100 Ash and then it's immediately burnable for 600 Ash. But, I guess, I mean, now from what everybody's saying is the community's going to decide which one's burnable. I don't know. Going into these drops, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then the opposite happens. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think this is part of the fun if you don't take it too seriously, right? To be able to go in and speculate with your friends and kind of try to understand the masterful game theory that Pack plays with us, right? Like and know that it's going to be a positive sum game. There's no zero sum here,
Oh,
right?
I'm calling in sick that day. I'm getting that drop.
I wonder how much notice we're going to get. I
Then
mean,
we're gonna pull out the old health check on the Discord.
Yeah.
There's gonna be people dying left and right, trying to get to
What do you think FOMO is going to go down to? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've thought about it. That's 320 ash I could spend on this drop. I've thought about it.
I can't burn mine. If I
I
burn
can't.
mine, I rug the whole community. They don't have a radio show anymore. We'll have to have some dude playing the harmonica or something if I die. So, I think it'll go down 5 to 600. I also think something will become
Do you
of
think it's going
FOMO.
to be cut in half? I mean, that's, yeah. I know, like right around nine something right now.
Yeah, I think it'll go down like another couple hundred. And that's just speculation. I think, people will need some Ash liquidity for not necessarily Ash 2, but also Ash 3, Ash 4. Maybe
Yeah.
they find their own little side artist or something they want to buy. But I think there's something more that we don't see yet in FOMO. So I think definitely FOMO will be rewarded. Um, it'll be rewarded in its own way. People that burn cubes, they were rewarded with ash, and also if they burn multi cubes, they got a special carbon. So I think as we just keep moving forward over the years, I think if you still hold some cubes, you'll be rewarded. If you still hold FOMOverse, you'll be rewarded.
Big cube, one cube, and one 10 cube, just to round out that story from earlier.
Nice, dude. You got
I'm
one
going to
more
cube
cube than
forever.
me.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Man, I remember watching Silver Surfer go in there and just scoop. And I'm like, this
Like
guy's
six
flying.
pages.
Yeah. No, he went into back when the cubes and
No, no,
like
no,
he
no. I
was.
meant like six nifty gateway pages of just
Oh yeah,
executing
just
all of
like
them. Here's the
yeah, it's
next
like
one.
I was like, yeah,
Next
I'll
one.
sell it to you for 3,000, idiot. Nope, 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 nope. I'm the dumb one.
Yeah. No, I feel ya. I sold mine for like 2 grand or something, or I think
Why
one was
wouldn't
like
you?
two
It's a
grand.
4x. It was in what, a couple weeks time, maybe less.
Right.
Like yeah. So many stories like that. That's why I just hold now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll sell certain things, but I will always keep if it's community I believe in, I will keep some skin in the game. Right. One of the early like findings, it's probably like pretty obvious at this point now, is like when these PFPs started coming out, I was like, get at least two.
That's
Don't
exactly
get
what I was gonna say. It's like if you plan on selling something or you want to flip, buy two or three. That way, when you sell, you're not totally out.
yep.
You know.
Yep, and you can still participate, and you're still supporting the artist because, like everybody, the best artists, a good example being Dell, will encourage people to make money off of their work because they know it's typically there's some bad actors, just a few, but typically the true community members, if they have to sell to get out, like it isn't because they don't believe in Dell, it's because that money can change their life. I think it was I can't remember. I think they sold the token. Somebody had sold the token for like a down payment on a house or something. And I'm like,
No, so somebody, I think it was John Brown. He sold his balance collection and was able to buy or put a down payment on a house.
it's beautiful,
Yeah, that's
man.
so awesome.
That's beautiful. Like I love that. I mean, those are the types of opportunities that you look for. I mean, and from an investment perspective, right? Because like ultimately there's got to be monetary incentive tied to this, right? For you to spend your time doing it. Like this is fat tail power law investing, angel pre-seed, like early companies,
Yes.
right? Like you should be spreading your wing, in my opinion, you should be spreading your wings within certain bounds, doing your research as you do it, understanding that most of this is going to go to zero.
Yeah.
But the really good communities, they're going to return the fund.
Hmm.
And that's the packs of the world. That's the beans that I believe in. And I'm happy to talk about it more, like why, but like that's the dead fellas. That's all these ones I've been mentioning. Philosophical foxes, they don't exist for monetary value. They exist for the thought bubble, right? Let's
Totally
be
agree with
great
that.
thinkers together. That transcends a lot of, I think, the traditional culture around here. So like to watch these go, like I'm going to do everything that I can to contribute and like stick around because I want them to survive. But from, that investment perspective, it's also like, hey, if you're building connections that are unique, right? Like those connections are what's gonna really like drive value in the community and keep and influence more people to join, right?
Off Edge, I want to see you still in FOMO in a year, brother. I know you said you're thinking about burning, but no.
Yeah,
Don't burn that
yeah.
shit.
I'll tell
I
you,
want to see you back. Okay?
I would be going against my mentors' conversations that I've had, and I typically when I do that, it's not the right. Oh heck, he's a
You're walking
wise,
into the
wise
dark
man.
forest then, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's exciting, man. Have you followed Nounsdow at all?
Who is
Just
it?
random thought. What?
Who is that?
Nounsdow? You never heard of it?
Can I find him on Twitter? Nouns,
Go to
Dow.
nouns.wtf.
Like, like, like Noun? Nouns?
Yeah, like the yeah. Like
Nouns dot WTF?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen this before.
Yeah. This is kind of a random segue, but like this is one model of DAO, right? So scroll to the top. What noun are they on? 246. So for 246 days, more or less, they've been auctioning off nouns for a 24-hour auction. So if you go back right above noun, there's like a go back button.
Right here.
That is, those are what these things go for. That's 65 ETH. The first 100, I don't think a single one went for under 100 ETH. I think most of them were like 150 ETH.
That's insane.
So what's going on here? 100% of those winning bids is going into a treasury, and then the nouns, the people who own these NFTs that were distributed this way, govern how that is spent. So they have a proposal system in Snapshot. You can go look at all the proposals with this primary purpose of just promoting ubiquity of the nouns. They want the nouns to be more or less like Disney characters. Everybody knows who they are. So they're just trying to proliferate the IP. And in doing so, they are also releasing all of the IP. Now, the reason you see these 10 ones kind of go for $0 is because the founding team, instead of taking like an allotment of nouns on the front end, every 10th noun goes back to the founding team. So obviously the founding team formed this. They do have some, important roles to play, and they should be rewarded for all their work. So, I mean, this to me is the future, and this is what BeansDAO is. BeansDAO is a hard fork of this, tribute to this, to try this new way of governing IP, a new way of governing a DAO that is different than like the 10,000 drop, right? Really trying to make things happen. So, I mean, it's so cool. I don't know what's going to happen. This BeansDAO is dropping, in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month. And like, I've been with them since the start. It's, my mentor's mentor is like the artist Jack, and he's a visionary, and he really just gets this space. He's been a collector in it for a long time. He has very much the WAGMI mentality that you have, that I have, where you're just in this, you want to see other people make it. And it's just something I'm super excited about. I couldn't have left your show without talking about it, because
Awesome,
it is just,
man.
it's so new. It's like so right. Like I just assumed once Nouns did that and people saw how much money they were raising, that everybody would do it. But it's really freaking hard. And so you're only seeing a few communities do it. So it's exciting.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. We're going to wrap
Yeah.
up here in a few minutes. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then we
Cool.
will go back into our little Discord holes. Okay, so first question. Favorite shit coin?
Favorite shit coin. I don't do a lot of shit coin trading. I guess I'd have to go with Dogecoin just because of
That's
what it
cool.
represents. If that's a shit coin, I don't know. Maybe that
Did-
might make some people mad.
have you bought any Dogecoin? Are you a holder?
No. But I love what Elon Musk has done for it. I love what Mark Cuban has done for it. I followed the journey. I love that it has brought meme culture to the forefront, that it is here to stay, because that is a lot of what we're doing here in these other communities, is creating memes, right? So
And that brings
I
up
respect that.
an interesting point. It's like you don't have to buy into something to necessarily like believe in it or even like watch it. Like you
Hmm.
can, it's okay to just like sit back and just enjoy and watch. You know,
Yep.
so that's cool. Second question, last question here. We'll wrap it up. What is your favorite cryptocurrency?
Favorite cryptocurrency is 1000% Ash.
1000% Ash.
I mean,
Love it.
look, can we get into the investment opportunities of ETH and Bitcoin and Solana and Avalanche and blah, 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 and XRP, what have you? But like what Ash represents aligns directly with my values. And I see a monetary future for it, right? Like a source of income. I see it doing well. And so it's kind of like I get to contribute, right? On top of the fact that I just believe in what Pack is doing. I believe in the distribution metric with the burning and all that. So, yeah.
So, it, it makes me think like with ETH, with Ethereum, like
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I really don't even care about what the price is. I need Ethereum to make transactions and to buy things, so I just buy it. I'm like whatever, just $200, $500, whatever. I'm just buying it. I have that same kind of thing with Ash. I'm like I don't even care what the price is. I'm gonna buy some. I'm gonna buy some NFTs with it. I might save a little back for later, but it's crazy because I share the same kind of viewpoints with ETH and Ash. Not every crypto I have that same kind of vision for, but I think Ash, this is just speculation, but I think we go into like $200 per Ash. It could go crazy to like $1,000 per Ash, but I think this is after we've built the community a little bit farther out. After some crazy stuff that we don't even know happens. Um, so yeah, but it's just interesting because like I'm telling my buddies like, who cares what the prices of ETH? Who cares what the prices of Ash? Just buy it, and you're gonna need it. So.
Interesting. I can't say I'm that unstructured in my buying, but
Hmm.
I love it. Like I totally feel it, right? Like it's totally cool. I know there's ranges of ETH to Ash,
Sure.
and so whenever it's on the upper echelon, I'm trading ETH for Ash.
There you go,
So
man.
if you see it at like 170 or so, like to one for Ash, I'm like, yep, today's going to be an Ash day.
Nice, dude.
Now, when I actually go and check, I'm not like monitoring it when it like hits that point. I'm like, yep, go do it. I'm not that mechanical about it.
You
But
got like
I mean,
limit buys and everything in there.
yeah, don't get me wrong. If it's been at 145 per, and I've done it, but like when I see it at that level, now that I am participating in at the Ash community and I own shit, man, I think I might own like 12 to 15 Ash pieces. I got my Ash credit card. I got
Oh
the
wow.
or collector's card, I should say, not credit card. CCC. And dude, Young Weekend, legit. Like, mad shout out to them. But like, and Dell, obviously, we've talked about a ton. But like, I Ash, and then also Tezos. I mean, I don't think we've talked about Tezos at all in here. I don't know if you have any exposure there, but like,
Hmm.
that is for me another cryptocurrency that represents more than like the value of the cryptocurrency. It's another whole ecosystem for true art. So like I kind of like having that kind of social connection with what I'm doing, but I also trade responsibly, or try to usually.
All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on Off Edge. It was a pleasure talking to you here. We're gonna wrap this thing up, and I'm gonna go do some stuff with the girlfriend. So, anything else that you'd like to share or talk about?
Yeah, man, this whole thing is about community. So, if you're out there and you're listening and you're wondering about it, like feel free to reach out to me. Like I'll have a very long conversation with you just so you understand like how important it is that all of us come together and do this. Yeah, we're all in it together. WAGMI. Thank you. Appreciate it, Austin.
Thanks, Off Edge. We'll talk to you guys soon. Everybody, if you want to find Off Edge, where's the best place to find you?
Right there on the screen at offedge underscore is my Twitter handle. or look for me on Discord. Same off edge 7544. So come holler at me, man. My goal right now is to have as many conversations with as many people as possible. It's a very simple goal so that we can help create a bigger space for this. So I appreciate it.
Well, thanks, brother, for coming on. We'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon. Have a good weekend.
Cheers.